I go now, Lynn Zovighian. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited that she is now joining us to give remarks. Lynn, thank you so much for joining us from Lebanon. I know you've been the force behind this event and all the work that you've done to put this report together, to come alongside this community. I know that you've organized these commemoration events over the years and have been just a strong voice for the community. We'll hand it off to you, Lynn.
Thank you so much, Nadine, and thank you to my friends who are on stage, Natia, Murad, and Pari. And thank you very much to Representative Wolf and Marissa and the Wilson Center team for having us. I join you from Beirut. I would have loved to be with you in Washington. And I would like to share some closing remarks to really amplify the critical messages, the indispensable messages that our Yazidi friends have shared with us today. I'd like to begin by making very clear that everything that we have heard teaches us that Sinjar is still a conflict zone. It is still unsafe. There is tremendous uncertainty. There is no clear plan, budget, and will. And so what could a future look like when none of the basic elements that any human race, civilization, and community deserves is not on the table? And the ailment that we bring to all of our US stakeholders today is that with the very few steps that have been taken for Sinjar, the Yazidis are not being included in the decisions that are being taken on their lives and on their future. Decisions are being made for the people that you see in front of you on stage today. They have no voice. We are asking for agency, and we are asking for the US government to make it a priority, to make that happen, and voice that necessity to the Iraqi and Kurdistan regional governments, because we know how close those three governments are together. So that is the ask on the table today. You have heard today tremendous frustration and disappointment. And I would like to contextualize what that means for our three Yazidi friends on this stage today. Because in just 4 days, they are going to be taken back in time to the first day of yet another genocide against their people. I would like to make clear that although these three leaders are so collected and so eloquent, they are hurting. And they are being triggered and re-triggered with trauma and anger and having to respond to hate crimes, having to respond to insult, and having to still show up on this stage and on other stages globally without taking offense, with still being able to keep it together. I want to just remark how extraordinary that effort is. It is superhuman. We are clearly asking for far too much. And I can only imagine what our 2,600 women and girls and boys who are still enslaved, who are still in re-education camps, who are still being held by Daesh militants, what life is like for them every single day. It's important to remember that Daesh is not over. So what we are modeling here is what inclusion and what dialogue looks like. We need this in Baghdad, and we need this in Erbil. So we are asking Washington, D.C. to help make that possible. And we cannot continue without the United States really stepping up for us, and most importantly, with us, because that is what we are asking. We are saying to do it hand in hand with the Yazidi people, especially, for example, the three leaders on stage here today. I need to also put an important reminder on the table because we have heard some very big statements, and I need to make very clear that I have another ask, which is the personal security of our speakers, because they need to safely speak. And we all in the world need to comprehensively learn. When any of them fly back into Baghdad or Erbil, they need to be able to do so safely. We should not hear of any arbitrary arrests, harassment, bullying, and certainly no hate speech or any violent crime being committed against these Yazidi leaders and any other Yazidi that has the courage and still the stamina to speak up. And so I ask that our American allies in the room also make sure that while we are here to speak about the collective security, the collective safety, the collective safe representation of the community, and the collective path towards justice, that we also ensure the personal security of our three friends on stage here today. And I would like to end by saying thank you. Thank you for holding space. Thank you for modeling what dialogue and what eloquent and professional and technical representations and discussion looks like, because that ask is not an unreasonable ask to be making. It is the human ask that is a right for every Yazidi survivor, community member, and leader to be making today. I thank you, and I yield the floor.
Thank you so much, Lynn, for this reminder, and thank you for joining us from Beirut.